IIM Udaipur is introducing a new program to let students work efficiently in the fast-changing world of technology. And to discuss the same, we have with us today Mr. Nitin Bawankule, Country Director, India, Google Cloud, and member of Advisory Board of IIM Udaipur's newly started Center for Digital Excellence. On behalf of IIMU community, I would like to welcome you, sir. Thank you. And thank you for taking out time. My pleasure. So, first question is, how would you like to describe or define a digital enterprise?
The way I define digital enterprise is a way when an enterprise puts consumer at the heart of everything, because today's consumer is completely digitized. So if you look at India as an example, as a country, close to 40% of India's population is on the internet, which literally means that 40% or maybe 70%, depending on what product category you are in, 70 to 80% of your customers are accessing you or trying to reach out to you through the digital platform. And that means that as an enterprise, if you are not available to the consumer or your customer on the digital platform, be it on a social website or your own website or a mobile platform or any other platform, you are missing out reaching and communicating and exchanging ideas with the customer. So a digital enterprise is an enterprise which puts customer at the heart of everything and ensures that you are literally tracking every footprint which the customer is leaving for you to ensure that you understand what the customer is asking for and able to predict and deliver what he expects.
Very well said, sir. So, can you tell us what are the key attributes of a digital enterprise? Like you defined it very well, but what are the key attributes of it?
Key attributes of a digital enterprise would be agile, extremely agile. You have to be, because the consumers are moving very fast. Just to give you a classic example, the reason I talk about agility is a consumer in the old world or a non-digital world would walk into a store and spend at least 5 to 10 minutes. So you had 5 to 10 minutes to interact with the customer and give him the experience of your product or solution or whatever you were trying to sell. Today's world, the consumer is literally on your app or your website for a fraction of a second. If he doesn't like the experience on your platform, he walks out in a second. So you literally have less than 1 second to influence and ensure that the customer is attracted to your platform or to your brand or to your service. So you have to be agile, you have to be literally. So that's the first part, agility. The second is, along with agility comes with the ability to adapt and change. That's the second attribute required, because literally when you are being touched by so many millions of customers, literally in fractions of seconds, you have to ensure that you are giving that personalized experience to each other, and you have to adapt to each person's demand and requirement. So that's the second part of it. And the third is a real and digital company or enterprise has to leverage data. If you're not leveraging data, there's no way you can be a digital enterprise. So these are the three attributes.
Okay. So, digitalization also seems to have a lot of negative overtones like security, data, etc. So, that instills a lot of fear amongst people. What are your views and roles we play in such an environment?
The first and foremost thing everyone has to remember, there's a difference between two terminologies which many people confuse. The first is security, second is privacy. As a consumer, if I am a consumer, I should be worried about privacy of my data, because I don't want to, for example, share my personal data, be it my own data or my wife's photo or that kid's photo or whatever it is, with someone else whom I don't know. That is privacy. Okay. The good part is literally every digital platform is allowing you and giving you the tools to ensure that you are private. So for example, simple way to say is, if I am on any browser, I can get into an incognito mode, which literally means no one knows what I am doing on the web. Same applies to any social platform. You need not necessarily be on a social platform if you don't want to share your thoughts with anyone else. Sharing your photographs on a social platform or any other platform or putting on the net literally exposes your privacy, right? So that's your individual choice, whether you want to be a private as a person or whether you want to be public. Related to that is the second part, which is security, and that's what you asked about. I think honestly, if you look at it, the moment you know what data you are putting on the web and you are trusting it on the real trusted sites, so I can speak for on behalf of Google, the data is secure, because you will hardly hear any data breach from Google. We have multiple platforms like Search, YouTube, Maps, Android, Chrome. you wouldn't have heard of any data breach across any of these platforms. So you have to ensure that when you are working on the net or exposing your data on the internet, leaving a footprint on the internet, where are you leaving it on? Which platforms are you leaving it on? Are they secure? If they are secure, I think both privacy and security is taken care of.
So the next question is: do digital enterprises need MBA graduates more than the technical expertise?
It is not either or. Let me be very clear. I know everyone would love to hear an answer on their behalf, but any enterprise, not only digital enterprise, every enterprise needs multiple different talents, right? Because there are different jobs, there are different skill sets required, and I think everyone brings in a different skill set. As much as a digital enterprise needs a technical person to develop the code or develop the application, they need MBAs to ensure that those applications are delivering what a consumer wants. So that expectation or the business understanding or the consumer requirement is what the business guy brings in or an MBA brings in. And converting that business requirement or the customer requirement into the hard coding application is what the technical guy gives. So it's not either or. Any enterprise, be it digital or non-digital, needs both. And I would say it's a land of plenty for both of them to grab.
So building on the previous question, I would like to ask: what are the key skills management graduates must possess to become effective managers and eventually leaders of digital enterprises?
Um, I would say it relates to my first answer. First and foremost, be ready to learn, unlearn every day, if not every hour. Just to give you an example, I'm also from an IIM at one point of time. 25 years back, when I stepped out of an IIM, the companies which I worked for in the last three jobs did not even exist. Business models did not exist. So when I stepped out of IIM Bangalore in 1994, Google did not exist. There was no search engine, there was no YouTube, there was no Android, there was no smartphone. So if I would have still stuck to what I had studied at my management course, I wouldn't have been ready to work in this kind of companies and these kind of solutions. So I think the first and foremost is be ready to learn, unlearn every day, irrespective of at what stage of your career you are, whether as a student or as a professional. The second thing is don't be scared of technology. Whether you like it or not, the world is rapidly getting innovated and transformed because of technology. Um, I give you an example of smartphones, but think of it. Many of us were born in an era when there was something called an encyclopedia, a book which told us about everything. Encyclopedia as a company, the company which used to publish it, shut down in 2012. Now there's Wikipedia, there's Google search, there's multiple other platforms which give you the same information. So you have to be technologically savvy. You can't say I will still go for the same book because the book does not exist. Now you have to be on search whether you like it or not. Same with the many of us when we were students, we used to write letters to our parents. Now we don't even write, we only WhatsApp, right? Or we do handouts. So you have to be ready. And the same, I'm giving you consumer example, but when you get into jobs, technology is rapidly changing. In my engineering days, we learned Fortran and BASIC. It does not even exist now. And maybe the languages which you are learning from technology today will change in the next 5 years. So you have to be, whether you like it or not, you have to be loving the technology. So be ready for that. And the third and the most important thing which people think in the technology world is missing, would not be required, but is still required, is ability to work with people. I think no MBA course teaches you how to work with people. But remember, when you get into a corporate world, it's you and your team and the extended teams which literally delivers everything. You cannot do anything on your own. So how do you interact, engage, collaborate with teams, with people across different teams, be it at the customer end, be it your supplier end, or you're within your own teams, extended teams. That's the most important thing which is looked at. How do you deal with people?
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out your time.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.